I've been married to the game, I've been road running, getting to some commas every day, this ain't slow money. I was just in better class, they ain't see me coming, now we pull up something fast, they say I'm acting funny. When you come up
BCK POOTIES.
What's up?
Good to go.
Cool.
Alright. First, what have you been working on?
I've been working on a lot of things. I've been just trying to lock in. It's easy to start off somewhere. I've been working on getting some music stuff worked on, like collab albums, hosting mixtapes, trying to get this podcast off the ground. It's been hit a little bumps in the road, but I open my mouth too much and say I'm gonna do all these projects and nothing gets done. Like, I've been trying to get this podcast since Christmas of 2024, but the first 2 episodes I wanted to do of this podcast, the 2 guests haven't been worked out. Like, I got the interviews done, but they ain't come out like how I wanted to come out. So I actually recorded 2 previous episodes. So I had 4 total done. 2 of the one that I wanted to do was my first 2 ain't end up how I wanted to do. So I'm gonna just go ahead and start with myself as my first prototype, and then I'm gonna drop the other 2 interviews that were decent enough to drop. And they're gonna be a little shaky at first because I'm still trying to get used to doing this podcast thing and on camera, but it's gonna take off. And as far as that, and then like I said, collabs, albums, not for me myself, but I'm head of Crunch Time Records, the quote president of it. I founded it back in like 2015, but we'll get deeper into that. So right now I'm just trying to get my brother King Chrissy's music off the ground, Big Choppa's music off the ground, Landraco's music off the ground, and Trey By The Way.
Well, and as a student of the game, what's the best game you've been given?
The best game I've been given? So it's hard to say because life goes on and like you hear different advice from different people. But as far as the best, it's going to sound corny, but shout out to the legend, John Cena, never give up. And that's something you just got to go with. Like, even no matter how times get hard or no matter how much life beats you down, you just got to keep going and never give up because you never know what you could achieve.
And what made you want to start, like this podcast and Crunch Time Records?
So as far as student of the game goes, one of my big inspirations for this podcast is $1 Million Worth of Game by Wallow and Gilly the Kid. And they interview rappers and athletes and other celebrities in the hip-hop culture / just sports world. And I like that idea, but I feel like when I was rapping, there was not a lot of platforms you could give to upcoming artists that maybe get 5 views a month or 10 views a week. There's not that. And I wanted to do that because when I was rapping, I was looking for a helping hand and it never came. So I was like, well, let me try to be that for somebody to help give them a platform to trampoline or jump off of so they could get their career started. And as far as Crunch Time Records goes, it's a long story. So it's 10 years in the making. So it started back, really it's more than that. So my cousin J Loud, he had a MacBook and he had came stay with us for like a month or 2 and he brought it. And mind you, I'm in 7th grade. King Chrissy's probably in, like 3rd grade, 4th grade or some shit like that. And we made a song and it's just auto-tuned out, just shit trash. And I feel like that's the start of the music. And then that was it. That's the only song we ever made. And then fast forward to he graduated from college, 2015. I got a laptop and I wasn't going to go to college, but I was like, let me just go just for a couple years to see how it is. And then I got a laptop, like I said, and I downloaded Audacity. I started just downloading beats, instrumentals, and I just started working. And I tell my brothers, come on, if I'm rapping, y'all come and rap with me. So they're in middle school, mind you, and I'm fresh out of high school. And I'm trying to get these guys in the sweatshop trying to rap because I'm like, there ain't nobody rapping really in back where we're from, which is an hour outside of Memphis. There was really nobody rapping like that out there. Of course, you had a couple people, but that was it. So I was like, I was doing everything, finding beats, editing, doing the videos and everything. So that started, we called ourselves the Young Kings. It was me, King Chrissy, and my brother Romeo. And then that evolved into my cousin Angel and my other cousin, his brother, Lil Ace. And we ended up doing like a bunch of songs. Every time they would come visit, just lock in studio, recorded. Mind you, to me, that was the funnest times, but to other people, it didn't sound good. And like, I always wondered why, like, nobody shared my music, and that's a chip I had on my shoulder. that I had for a while. Is like, why ain't nobody really gravitating my music? And I understand, like, it wasn't the best I was putting out, and it was raw. Like, it wasn't like fully edited and mixed and mastered and all that. So Young Kings ended up going into Omerta Records, and then now finally we got to Crunch Time Records, because I feel like right now I'm at a point where if I start over, it's really like just anything. I'm at a place where I need to figure something out to get going, because we've been stuck at the bottom for so long. I feel like it's time to go up. So that's what crunch time means. Is like you're at your lowest. You're working 2-3 jobs to get your bills due, to get your bills paid. So that's what crunch time is. It's like you gotta get it to work. If you don't work, you don't eat.
Well, it looks like you got a little ahead of my my next question with the history of music. Is there anything you want to add to that?
So music, I've been a fan of music just ever since I can remember. Just my dad and all his cars just bumping straight 360 mile. If you were 5 years old, with sounds blaring in our ears, Project Pat, Do I Die. So it stems from that. So like, even when growing up and everybody was into like the more popular music like Lil Wayne and Drake, I was more into like the Gucci Mane, the underground, the mixtape era. So that was me. Even though I was kind of saying like mixtape era Gucci, not including Wayne. But when Wayne was popular, when I was growing up, it was the albums like the Carter 4 and all that. And I wasn't really gravitating towards that. So that's where my music history came from. And then I got into the more lyrical stuff with J. Cole. And that's who inspired me to do Crunch Time Records, because he got a song called Crunch Time.
All right. And I did notice that chain you got on your neck. Mind showing us? Or
Yeah.
what's the BCK
Let
on
me
your
get
chest?
my hair out. By the way, this ain't extensions. Yeah, I grew this myself. I don't know if you can see that. It's BCK Pooties right there,
Can you
man.
talk to me more about that?
So the BCK stands for Box Chevy King. That's my pops. He does YouTube. He builds dunks. He does a lot of car stuff. He actually went up to Rick Ross and gave him one.
All right. And what does that mean to you?
So BCK, it means a lot. The chain means a lot because I come from, like I said, the hip hop era. So I grew up around noticing like Gucci Mane, his Bart Simpson chain, his Igloo chain, the Diplomats chain. So I like that. I've always wanted something flashy. That should always just been me with like the jewelry. And so to me, the BCK stands for. To me, it stands that he did something with his life. Like coming up, I know he grew up in an era where it was harder. Like he grew up on his own. He was not necessarily like just shadowed from his family, but not really a lot of people fucked with him in his own family. And so he made it out of himself and made those folks eat their words in a way. And so it means a lot that he was able to do that, coming from where he's from literally the slums of Chicago, to make it to the promised land. So that's what it means. It means that he made something out of his life. And I'm proud of him for that.
And how did it make you feel?
We in the trenches. That's some pits, man.
How did it make you feel seeing Rick Ross' statement about your dad?
I think it just validated him in his journey, and I know it meant a lot to him because he listened to Rick Ross. Like I could go back maybe 2015, I want to say 2016, maybe 2017. It was one song that he had with Ty Dolla $ign. I can't remember. He knows it though, and he would just bump that junk all the time. And we always listen to Ross, but to think that Ross would be the first one to stamp him is crazy. And so he's been there like 4 times now, I want to say, to Rick Ross's car show, and it's different seeing him going there, and then now Rick Ross out of 100 people, him say, hey, that's Box Chevy King, that's them guys right there, come over here. He stops what he's doing to acknowledge them, and that's like, damn, my dad really did something in his life.
So how was it growing up?
So growing up, it was my mom and dad. Dad, like, he couldn't hold down a job. It's just 9 to 5s weren't for him. My mom always stayed home. It was me, my 3 brothers, and my sister, and we're all like that because we moved from Chicago to Tennessee. We had just had my grandparents and then my aunt and my uncle, and that's really been it. It's just been us. So we're like, they wonder why like, oh, we're always together, bro, because it's always just been us. For the most part, it's just been us. Like, we don't let too many outsiders in, and if you get let in, it means you're something special. So you better not do nothing to fuck it up, for real. But it's just growing up, it was just like, we were always kind of like looked down on just because we ain't have what other people had, or just because we live different than everybody else. But now it's just like, damn, everybody looking in saying, damn, your dad really made something with his life. So it's like all the people are seeing now this shit build up and like our platform now where we're at, but they didn't see us sleeping on the floor, riding around in box Chevys with no AC, shit like that.
And what's your inspiration?
My inspiration to do podcasts, like I said, was the $1 million worth of game, Drink Champs, because I like the vibe of that. Like, you just chill, drink, whatever. So I would like to do some more of that as I get comfortable on camera. My inspiration for music would probably be like I said, Gucci and J. Cole. Like, J. Cole has, like, Gucci and J. Cole have some of the best rosters, the eye for talent. Not to shade like Lil Wayne and how he found Drake and Nicki Minaj, but as an all-around roster, Gucci signed like hella artists from Memphis that blew up quick. I would like to do that, like not just Memphis, but like blow up like young, hungry artists. And then with like J. Cole, like the lyrics that push people who want to be better. So I would say that's my inspiration.
So what are your biggest regrets?
My biggest regrets, it's kind of hard to say because it's gonna sound dumb coming like I'm gonna say it. So I chose the right route, right? I went to college. I tried to find a job in my degree. Shit ain't working out. Now, you see, I'm stuck working 2 jobs. And they always be like, why ain't you on camera more with your dad? Because I feel like I missed out on the journey of him building that because I had moved out to go to college. So that would probably be my biggest regret, is missing out on the early beginnings. Even though I was coming around, him and my brother started making themselves, and my uncle, they started making themselves like known to YouTube, and I felt like I kind of regret not being part of that journey, but I'm excited to see what comes from it.
And we asked you what game you've been given, but what's some game you can give out?
The best game I could give out would be, say, just you got one life to live, so chase your dreams, no matter how far-fetched they could be, because you never know when you could achieve those dreams. It could be tomorrow, it could be next week, it could be a year, it could be in a decade. Like, for me, I'm trying to make something happen with music, even though, like I said, I tried rapping, it ain't work out. I may try back at it, but I wanna see if this crunch time could really pop off. So that's the best advice I could give, is just keep pushing, dog. You never know when you can make it.
And is there something you ever wanted to tell someone?
See if we could get deep on that. I got 2 people. So the first one would be my grandpa Gabino. He passed away a couple years ago, and he wasn't our biological grandpa, but he raised us like he was. And with my grandparents being in Tennessee when I lived in Chicago, that was really like my only set of grandparents besides when we go visit them. So I was always there at their house every weekend, and I just wanted to tell him thank you for treating us like his own. I never got the chance to tell him that. And then I would tell my cousin Hugo, who passed away, I think it was 2 years ago, I would just tell him, bro, I wish I had the relationship that I had with your siblings, that I wish I had with you. So I know in heaven you're waiting for us up there, dog, and I promise I got you one to roll up with.
And would you like to give any shout-outs?
I like to give shout-outs to, like I said, the whole Crunch Time Records. Shout out King Chrissy, shout out Lane Draco, shout out Trey, by the way, shout out Big Chopper. Shout out to my dad and his YouTube channel. Go subscribe. BCK, Box Chevy King, BCK Browell, BCK Baby Joe Shiesty. I got to do my other 2 siblings. BCK Sammy, BCK Dadas, even though he's BCK Rome. Shout out SS Ant. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. And just shout out to everybody else who helped pave the way for this journey. And shout out to the ones who doubted us, because if you ain't doubt us, we wouldn't be here today.